Good evening and welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday evening. We are back with another massive show to bring you guys tonight. But before we jump into that, please do me one small favour and smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 200 likes on today's video. And please make sure to subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. On the show tonight, we are going to be talking about 5 players who are reportedly going to leave Manchester United in the January transfer window. It looks like a lot of people are going to go out, but are any players going to come in? That's the big question that we will be discussing on today's show. Some of the names that are reportedly going to leave, I think, are going to encourage mixed conversation, which is something I always encourage on this channel. I always am happy to have differing opinions from my own and to read them out and to discuss it amongst us as a community. So if you do have an opinion on anything in today's video, please do make sure to get in the comment section and let me know exactly what you are thinking. So what I'll do is I'll start by just giving you the 5 players, okay? I'll give you the 5 players and then we can go through each one individually, and I'll obviously tell you where the sources are coming from because there is so much coming out in the last couple of minutes about Manchester United. So the 5 players are Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho, Pellistri, Hannibal, and Hansen. Some of them obviously differing in, I don't want to say abilities. Some of them are youth players. Some of them are kind of breakthrough players. Some of them are first team players. There is a real mixture of people in this list. And from what I'm hearing this afternoon, it looks like all 5 of these players are now going to leave the club this window. Let's start with Anthony Martial, because I think he's the most important one here. This story is literally just broke in the last 10 minutes. So this is literally fresh breaking news. And the headline is that Anthony Martial has now been told that he can leave Manchester United this month. However, Martial knows he will not be able to command the 250 grand a week he earns at Manchester United. Okay, that's the first part of it. It then goes on to say this. It says that Anthony Martial and Fenerbahce are currently in talks. If the deal is agreed, Fenerbahce will conduct a detailed health screening for Martial due to his current injury record. And then we have another journalist coming out in the last 10 or so minutes saying that Anthony Martial is now in advanced talks to join Fenerbahce on a permanent transfer. I mean, we've been talking about Martial to Fenerbahce at length over the last couple of days, haven't we? The thing we have to remember is, obviously, Martial has 6 months left of his contract. Only 6 months left. He will be available as a free agent in June. He's been ill for the last 3 or 4 weeks, which I think, to be honest, is very suspicious. He wasn't on the bench yesterday. Let me just have a look when he last played, because I feel like it literally was about a month ago, wasn't it? I mean, his injury record is just absolutely appalling, and for him then for him to then be ill for a month. I mean, I hope he's all right. I don't want to say I hope he is ill, but you know what I mean? I just don't understand how somebody could be ill for a month. Professional athletes. If it was like an elderly person, maybe, but he's a professional footballer and he's been ill for a month. So the last time he was, that's crazy. So the last time he was in the matchday squad, right, was on the 9th of December. So literally a month ago today was the last time he was in a squad against Bournemouth. He's missed the Liverpool game, the West Ham game, the Aston Villa game, and the Nottingham Forest game. That's just in the Premier League alone. He missed, obviously, the Bayern Munich game as well, and he missed the game last night. He's missed 7 games through illness. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? And for me, I don't think there's even any argument about Anthony Martial. He 100% should leave now, without a shadow of a doubt. So Martial's number 1. Let me know in the comment section whether you think Martial should leave or not. For me, it's an obvious yes. The next one is Jadon Sancho, and there is some breaking news coming out in the last couple of minutes that Jadon Sancho is now on the brink of moving to Borussia Dortmund, and he will arrive in Dortmund either tomorrow or Thursday. Now, we've had a bit of clarity on the deal that's going to happen here. Apparently, United will pay £100,000 a week towards Jadon Sancho's salary whilst he is on loan at Dortmund, and Dortmund will pay the other £150,000. So over the next kind of 6 or so months, we will pay Jadon around 3 or 4 million, and Dortmund will pay him around, I think, a little bit more than that. So it's not as bad as maybe we once had thought, but it's still, we're still going to be paying Jadon Sancho around £100,000 a week to be on loan at Dortmund after he's refused to play for Manchester United. I mean, it's an absolute stain on the club, isn't it? It's embarrassing. That's all I'll say. It's absolutely embarrassing. And yeah, I just really hope that we can move on from this. I really, really do. But let me know what you think about Jadon Sancho. Do you see a future for him at Manchester United? Now, just to maybe add a little bit of fuel to the fire, there is obviously the potential that Jadon Sancho comes back in the summer. Now, the only way in which I see this happening is if Erik ten Hag was sacked. I don't see any world in which Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho become friends again, personally. I just don't think that will happen. I think Jadon Sancho has played his last game for Erik ten Hag. You can't call out the manager. Okay? You can't. A. Fran says, Martial, Rashford's right-hand man, needs to go. Well, it looks like Martial will be leaving, mate. So it will either be now or it will be in June. So that's the second player. The third is creating a bit of a mixed feeling, and that is Hannibal Mejbri. This is coming out from multiple different sources in the last 10 minutes. That Everton and Sevilla are both close to agreeing loan deals with Manchester United for Hannibal Mejbri. Once both deals are agreed, it will be down to Hannibal to choose where he wants to go and play for the rest of the season. Now, from what I'm hearing here, apparently both clubs are trying to include a buy clause in this loan deal. Now, I think it would be a shame because Hannibal is definitely one of our better youth players. And we've seen, for example, Jadon Mengi go to Luton for only $1 million. And he's now being branded as one of the best young centre-backs in the Premier League after, 6 months at Luton. I think we've got to be very, very careful with this one. I think that Hannibal has contributed. Obviously, he scored a goal, didn't he, in the Premier League already this season, which is good, you know. And I really just hope that we don't just get rid of all of our youth players, because at the moment it feels like that's what's happening. And I think that Hannibal, I don't know whether he's good enough to be a starter for Manchester United personally, but I think he's definitely good enough to be a squad player. I think he's better than McTominay, to be completely honest with you. And McTominay plays nearly every single match. So, you know, it's not like we've got a midfield of Jude Bellingham, Rodri and Declan Rice. You know, we've got a midfield of an 18-year-old, Kobe Mainoo, Eriksen, who's 33 and can barely last 45 minutes anymore, Casemiro, who it seems most of the fan base want out. You get where I'm going with this. Like, our midfield is such a weak area at the moment. And I think to get rid of somebody like Hannibal would maybe be a bit stupid. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Would you loan out Hannibal, or do you think we should keep him? Do you think he should be getting game time? I'll say this. I would much rather see Hannibal play than Scott McTominay. I don't think Scott McTominay has a future here. Like, Hannibal's only 20 years of age. He still does have a future ahead of him. Whereas McTominay, he's 27. He's not young anymore. I know 27's young for most people, but he's 27 years old now, McTominay. And people are like, oh, he's a youngster still breaking through. He's not a youngster. He should be in his prime right now. And I would even argue that he's worse now than he was maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago. So for me, I think it's a little bit sad if Hannibal goes. Irvin says, any news on Rashford leaving? I don't think Rashford will go, mate. I think Rashford's here for the long run, whether you like that or not. I think that is the reality now. Rashford is part of this project. We know that Ineos want to kind of build their squad around British players. That's what's been reported. And Rashford's one of the most marketable British players at the moment. You know, he's got the biggest presence on social media, you know, all the charity work he does. He's a good asset to have around the club from a commercial brand perspective, maybe not from a footballing perspective. And I think that Ineos have already, you know, come out and said that they want to base their team around kind of British players. So I don't think Rashford's going anywhere. Right, next up we've got Pellistri. Pellistri, apparently LA Galaxy are trying to put in a bid for a permanent transfer for Pellistri. Whether or not that will happen, I don't know. PSV Eindhoven are also trying to loan Pellistri. So I would imagine that Pellistri will go out on loan, potentially with an option to buy as well. It looks like we're moving on these youth players, and I think that's simply because the more expensive senior players, no one wants them. No one wants Maguire. No one wants McTominay. Nobody wants to buy Casemiro for 50 million or whatever it is United want. So the only way that United can raise funds is by getting rid of the youth players, which is frustrating. I know it is frustrating, and it feels like a massive kick in the teeth, doesn't it? When you've got people like McTominay and Maguire still at the club, and then you're talking about getting rid of people like Hannibal, people like Pellistri, and then another player in a minute who I'm going to talk about, who I think is going to cause a lot of upset in the fan base. And it is annoying. It is. So the fifth player that we've heard today might be leaving in the next couple of weeks is Isaac Hansen-Aaroen. Obviously a very, very talented youth player. He was part of the squad on the Tour of America earlier in the summer. Somebody who, in my opinion, should be breaking through into the first team. 19 years of age. He's been at the club since 2020. Obviously came from Norway originally. Now his contract does expire in June. So either he goes now or he goes in the summer for free. United are trying to sign a new contract with him, but apparently the amount of money that United are offering is just not acceptable. It's not an acceptable amount of money. So the story this afternoon is Hansen-Aaroen would love to make things work at Manchester United, but he is understood to feel frustrated by the lack of first-team opportunities and has doubts about whether to sign a new contract with United. United want the teenager to sign a new 4.5 deal, but the terms offered so far do not come anywhere near the packages he could expect to receive elsewhere. I mean, it's just a kick in the teeth, isn't it? Because we should have seen people like Hannibal playing yesterday. He came on for 2 minutes. We were playing against the League One side who were bottom. And I do just worry that we're getting rid of all of our best youth players. I mean, who's going to be left? You know, if Hannibal goes, Pellistri goes, Hansen-Aaroen goes, obviously Mengi's already gone. Zidane Iqbal went. Omari Forson's already gone. Is there going to be anybody else left? Maybe I'm missing one or two people. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo's going nowhere. He's obviously a very good youth player. But other than that, everybody else seems to be going. It's frustrating, and it really does annoy me because you're not going to get much money for any of these players either. And what are you going to spend that money on? A loan? Are you going to loan Choupo-Moting with that money? I mean, I'd rather just not bother. I'd rather just, stick it out for the rest of the season, keep these youth players and try and get them on a long-term contract and kind of, embed them into the squad, because these players are our future. This is the future. Whereas, people like Choupo-Moting, they're short-term options, they're not going to get us very far in the long run, are they? It'll be a 6-month loan, they'll go back and that'll be it. And it's just the same cycle over and over again. And I'm just a little bit bored of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Darren says Hansen-Aaroen should be playing alongside Mainoo, drop McTominay. Yeah, mate, I agree with you. I agree. I would love to see him get some game time. I think he looks quality. I think he's one of the most exciting players coming through the youth team. And the fact that he's not even getting any game time in the FA Cup against a League One side who are struggling at the bottom of the table, that kind of sums it up for me. Yeah, so it is what it is, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's frustrating, it is. In relation to incoming players, there's literally no news whatsoever. Nothing. Obviously, Timo Werner has just moved to Tottenham. And other than that, we are where we are. I mean, who is there really to get at this point? It doesn't look like we'll get Guirassy. Obviously, Guirassi's now gone to Africa Cup of Nations. So it would be stupid to sign Guirassy now, because he could be out until kind of February or March, if he's at the Africa Cup of Nations, or at least till the end of February. And the only other option is Choupo-Moting, who I believe... I mean, where's Choupo-Moting from? Is he... Choupo-Moting is part of the Cameroon team, so I assume he's gone to Africa Cup of Nations as well, is he? Yeah, I think he is. He's part of the... So he's gone to Africa Cup of Nations. It's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let me just double check if he actually plays for them still. Yeah, he does. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this evening. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video before you go. Please do subscribe if this is your first time watching. This has been Daily Red Devil. Thank you again for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK time. New time for the show going forward. Have a nice evening, everybody. Speak to you tomorrow. This has been Daily Red Devil. Speak soon.